viewers, friends across the world, to welcome back again to my channel, Kkngdom Marketplace Leadership Development. So my name is Chairman Lazarus Munyamani. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm a marketplace leader. I'm also a Kkngdom Marketplace minister. And I'm also an entrepreneur. For those who don't know me, I'm into supply chain and logistics. That's where my passion is. And today, I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic. I'm going to talk about the power to influence the cause and effect principles in a situation. So we are going to talk about cause and effect. Influencing the cause and effect. Why do we have to talk about this? Everything that happens, there's a cause. And everything, an outcome of most of the things is an effect of certain causes. So in the marketplace, there are a lot of scrambling that happens where people, they fight. They're fighting for position. They're fighting to control. They're fighting to get maximum benefit. They're fighting to be the monopoly that controls the market. And they're fighting to be the only ones on top in an organization, to be the leader, to be the manager. There's a lot of fight that happens. But for someone who wants to understand what happens in the marketplace, or you are a believer, or you are not even a believer, but you want to learn some principles, I'm going to share some of the very interesting references from the Bible. I'm going to share from Genesis chapter 30, verse 37, 38, and 39. It's a very interesting story about a man called Jacob. Jacob was a son to Isaac. If you go and read in your Bible, you find the references. And I'm going to talk what happened between Jacob and his master, who was his father-in-law, a man called Laban. Laban was a very shrewd man, and Laban is what I'm going to relate to as the marketplace. The marketplace is a shrewd place. There's a lot of manipulation. You might be at a workplace where you are working so hard, you're doing your best, you're loyal, you're giving your whole self, your input to make the company better, to make the product you sell better. But at the end, they may struggle to pay you what you deserve. They don't give you what you deserve. There's a fight when it comes to you claiming to your dues, claiming to your rewards. There's always a fight that happens. So this is what happens between Laban and Jacob. So Jacob, he came to stay with his father-in-law, and he wanted to marry his daughter called Rachel. He loved Rachel and he wanted to marry Rachel. And Jacob, he was told to work for 7 years by Laban and said, for you to get my daughter, you must work for 7 years. And Jacob worked for 7 years. But when it was time for Jacob to get what was his, to get Rachel as his wife, the father-in-law shifted goalpost. He changed. You might have experienced that you have an agreement. When it's time for you to get paid, when it's time for you to get reward or to get recognition, they shift the goalpost. That is the Laban, how Laban operates. That is how the marketplace sometimes operates. That is a culture of manipulation, a culture of deprivation, limit, a culture of exploitation. That is the culture that you experience every day in the marketplace. You might be a politician, you might be a business leader, you might be an investor, there's always an antagonistic force. There's always antagonism. When it's time for you to get what is due to you, there's a pushback that happens. So Jacob, he realized that no. This is not what we agreed. You could have told me, because Laban said to him, for you to marry my daughter, she can't get married first before the elder sister is married. So Leah is the elder sister, so you should take Leah. And instead, if you want again Rachel, you have to work again for another 7 years. You see, Laban was shrewd. Laban was not honest. The marketplace, you will find that people are not honest. So what did Jacob do? He was loyal again. He worked again for another 7 years. So if you are a leader and you really love something, you can dedicate for it and you can go extra mile to work until you get what you want. So Jacob did. Jacob was a good example. He worked again for 7 years because he loved Rachel. So now let me go to the center of to the core of my of my topic today. So after they worked, and after 14 years, Jacob was given his wives. And furthermore, he started to work for Laban, and Laban was not paying Jacob what was enough for him. And Jacob realized that I have the blessing here and everything that is happening to Laban. I'm the one who is the caretaker, who is the steward of all his wealth, looking after all his cattle, after his animals, after his sheep, after everything that he has. But I'm not getting what is enough and due for me. Let me go. And Laban went to Jacob went to Laban to claim what was his. And Laban said, no, don't go. Let's renegotiate the contract so that I give you what makes you happy. What is it that you want? But Jacob did not demand money in form of payment, because he knew that he had a blessing to change things. He had a blessing to influence the results. He had a blessing to influence the cause and effect. So Laban proposed, and Jacob, he also made a proposal and said, give me the animals that are going to be birthed right now after we sign the agreement. Anything that is spotted should belong to me. And Laban said yes. And Jacob, he went ahead. He had a strategy. He took a poplar tree, he took a hazelnut tree, he peeled them off and let out the white color inside, and he laid it in the trough where the animals were drinking. As the animals were drinking, they conceived some white spotted calves. And Jacob had a multiplication of spotted animals that were birthed, and he had a flock of the things after he manipulated the cause and effect. So if you're a marketplace leader, you must understand the process, you must understand the system, how the system works, the input of the system and the output. Instead of you to go and fight and do a confrontation and do a fight head on with your managers, with your shareholders, you must understand how to influence the cause and the effect. Let's keep in touch. Let's meet in our next topic. Let's understand the power of influencing the cause and effect. Thank you.